Have you ever had that nagging feeling that someone close to you doesn't really like you, but you just can't prove it? Sometimes the signs are subtle, but they're there, and ignoring them can drain your energy and peace of mind. Today, we're uncovering 3 hidden signs that someone close to you may secretly dislike you, and what you should do about it. If you've ever sensed tension in a relationship but couldn't put your finger on why, this will open your eyes. And the last sign? It's the most painful to accept, but once you recognize it, you'll finally be free from the negativity holding you back. Meet Eleanor, a retired woman in her late 60s, who's always been the type to put others first. She's the kind of person who's quick to lend a helping hand, share a warm smile, and celebrate her friends' successes. For years, her friendship with Denise has been one of her most cherished relationships. They've shared countless laughs, holidays, and even the occasional heartfelt conversation about life's ups and downs. But recently, something started to feel off. It was subtle at first, a dismissive comment here, a backhanded compliment there. At first, Eleanor brushed it off, thinking it was just a bad day for Denise. But over time, the behaviour grew harder to ignore. It felt like Denise was intentionally belittling her, undermining her achievements, and offering fake support instead of genuine care. Eleanor began to question herself. Was she imagining it? Was it something she had done? Or was it possible that Denise, someone she'd trusted for so long, secretly resented her? It was a painful realization, especially when the relationship had once been so warm and supportive. Does this sound familiar to you? Have you ever felt like someone close to you secretly resents you, but you couldn't quite pinpoint why? Tell us in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. If this video resonates with you, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're here to share more valuable insights on living your best life after 60, and we wouldn't want you to miss out. Sign number 1. They undermine or dismiss your feelings. Eleanor was over the moon. Her grandson Jake had just graduated from college with honours, and she couldn't wait to share the news with Denise. It was a proud moment for Eleanor. She'd seen Jake grow up from a curious little boy into a young man who was now achieving his dreams. Eleanor had put so much into supporting him throughout the years, from attending his school events to helping him with his studies. This graduation wasn't just a milestone for Jake. It felt like a victory for Eleanor too. She was proud, and she had every right to be. So she called Denise to tell her the good news. But instead of the excitement or even a simple congratulations, Denise's response was cold and dismissive. She said, "Oh, must be nice to have such a perfect family." Eleanor was taken aback. At first she thought she misheard, but when Denise didn't elaborate further, it became clear this wasn't just an offhand comment. It was a subtle jab, one that made Eleanor question her own happiness. This is a classic example of how someone who secretly resents you may undermine your joy. Instead of celebrating with you, they minimize your achievements, belittle your happiness, and brush it off as something that's too good to be true or unrealistic. It's a tactic that's hard to pinpoint in the moment, because it doesn't feel like a direct insult. It feels like a comment that's meant to be harmless. But over time, it takes a toll on your self-esteem and emotional well-being. But why do people do this? Why do they feel the need to bring you down when you're sharing something positive? The reality is, when someone harbors negative feelings towards you, they might feel threatened by your happiness or success. Your joy might highlight the contrast to their own struggles or insecurities, so they deflect by making you feel small or unworthy of it. It's a form of projection. They're not happy with themselves, so they take it out on you. These dismissive behaviors often show up in other ways as well. Someone who secretly resents you might make jokes at your expense, even if they seem light-hearted. Have you ever been in a situation where you were sharing something personal or exciting, and the other person responded with a sarcastic remark like, "Well, not everyone is as lucky as you, or must be nice to live in your perfect little world"? It's not just an innocent joke, it's a subtle dig at you, making you feel like your achievements or happiness don't matter. It doesn't stop there. People who secretly harbor negative feelings might also downplay your struggles instead of offering support. Let's say you're going through a tough time whether it's dealing with a health issue or experiencing a loss, and you open up to them. Instead of offering empathy or understanding, they might respond with something like, "Well, at least you're not as bad off as so-and-so," or "You just need to get over it. There's no reason to dwell on it." Instead of validating your feelings, they dismiss them completely, making you feel like your struggles don't matter. These are the subtle signs of someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. It's not always obvious, and it's easy to overlook in the moment. After all, who would think that someone you've known for years would harbour such negative feelings toward you? But if you start noticing a pattern of dismissiveness or undermining behaviour, it's important to pay attention. This kind of negativity, even in small doses, can chip away at your confidence, self-worth, and overall peace of mind. Over time, it can leave you questioning your worth and feeling emotionally drained. Have you ever noticed someone brushing off your feelings like this? Maybe they dismissed your success, made a joke at your expense, or downplayed something important to you. Type yes in the comments if this sounds familiar. I'd love to hear your stories. You're not alone in this. What can you do about it? If this behavior sounds familiar, it's important to recognize that it's not your fault. People who undermine your feelings do so because they're dealing with their own insecurities or bitterness. But that doesn't mean you have to accept it or allow it to continue. Here's how you can respond. Set boundaries. If someone consistently minimizes your feelings, it's okay to call it out. You don't have to be confrontational, but you can be firm. For example, if someone makes a dismissive comment, simply say, "That wasn't a very kind thing to say. I was excited to share my news with you, and I'd appreciate a little more support." It doesn't have to be a huge confrontation. It's about standing up for yourself and teaching people how to treat you. Seek support elsewhere. If someone you care about isn't providing the emotional support you need, it's time to look for those who will. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your wins, big or small, and who validate your feelings. It's never too late to build a network of friends and loved ones who lift you up rather than tear you down. Reflect on the relationship. It might be hard to admit, but sometimes relationships change. If someone you've known for years constantly undermines you, it might be time to assess whether that relationship is healthy for you. You deserve to have people around you who genuinely want to see you thrive. If someone consistently brings you down, it may be time to reconsider the emotional investment you're making in that relationship. Remember, your feelings are valid, and your achievements deserve to be celebrated, not minimized. Don't let anyone make you feel small for sharing your happiness. Life is short. Surround yourself with people who encourage, support, and celebrate you for who you are. Has someone ever undermined your feelings or downplayed something important to you? How did you handle it? Share your experience in the comments below. We're all in this together. Sign number 2. They only pretend to be happy for you. Eleanor had always prided herself on her close-knit friendships, especially with Denise. Over the years, they had been through so much together: birthdays, celebrations, and even the difficult moments like family losses. They were more like family than friends, or so Eleanor thought, but lately something had been off when she shared good news. It wasn't blatant, nothing that could easily be pointed to as obvious jealousy or resentment. It was more subtle, something that gnawed at her every time Denise responded to her happy moments. The first time it really hit Eleanor was when she told Denise about her recent promotion to a position she'd worked so hard for. It was a big deal, a recognition she'd been waiting for after years of dedication. But when she shared it with Denise, she immediately noticed something strange. Denise's smile, though present, didn't quite reach her eyes. The words that followed, "Oh, that's wonderful, Eleanor, I'm so happy for you," sounded a little too rehearsed, almost like she had said them 100 times before. There was no spark, no genuine excitement, just a hollow acknowledgement. Eleanor tried to brush it off. Maybe it was just a bad day for Denise, maybe she was distracted or dealing with her own things, but then it happened again. When Eleanor mentioned how well her daughter's wedding went, how perfect the day had been, and how proud she was of the beautiful ceremony, Denise's response was the same. Her words were supportive, but her tone didn't match her expression. The smile that appeared on her face felt forced, almost like she was doing it out of obligation. That's when it clicked for Eleanor. Denise was pretending to be happy for her. She wasn't genuinely celebrating her wins. Instead, she was masking her bitterness with a thin layer of forced support. Key behaviours to watch for. So, how do you spot this kind of fake support in a relationship? If you've ever felt like someone was pretending to be happy for you, here are a few key behaviours to watch out for. Forced enthusiasm or lack of genuine excitement. One of the clearest signs of fake support is when the other person's reaction feels off. Instead of sharing in your joy, their response feels flat, as if they're just going through the motions. You might notice that their smile doesn't reach their eyes, or their voice sounds monotone, lacking the warmth and energy that should come with genuine excitement. For example, if you share big news, like an engagement, a promotion, or a family milestone, and the other person's response is simply, "Oh, that's nice," without any real enthusiasm, it's a red flag. People who are truly happy for you will want to celebrate with you, to ask more about your experience, and to share in your joy. Comparing your success to their struggles. Another tactic people who pretend to be happy for you use is comparing your success to their struggles. When Eleanor told Denise about her promotion, Denise's first reaction was a quick, almost dismissive, "Well, I guess we can't all have such great luck with jobs, can we?" This kind of comment isn't supportive. It's an attempt to minimize your success by placing it in the context of their own difficulties. Instead of being happy for you, they shift the conversation to make you feel guilty for your good fortune or make it seem like your achievement is somehow unfair. This behavior is rooted in jealousy or insecurity. People who feel inferior or envious of your success often try to deflect attention from it by turning the focus back on themselves. It's a way of subtly making you feel bad for something you should be proud of. Subtle jabs hidden in supportive comments. The most insidious form of fake support is the backhanded compliment or the subtle jab. These comments are disguised as encouragement, but are really just attempts to undermine your happiness. For example, you might hear, "Wow, it's amazing you managed to get that job. I thought they only hire people who are really lucky." Or perhaps, "Your kids always seem so well behaved. It must be nice to have such perfect children." These comments are laced with an undercurrent of sarcasm, making you feel like your success is somehow undeserving or out of reach for others. The truth is, these fake compliments often hide an underlying bitterness. Instead of offering sincere congratulations, they try to lower your achievements so that your joy doesn't make them feel inadequate. It's a way of trying to diminish your success while pretending to be happy for you. But the next sign, this one finally made Eleanor realize the truth about her relationship with Denise, and it was the wake-up call she needed. It's the kind of behavior that, once you recognize it, forces you to take a step back and reevaluate the dynamics in your life. You won't want to miss it. It's the hardest one to accept, but also the most revealing. Has someone ever pretended to be happy for you, only to make you feel like they were secretly resentful? Maybe you've noticed the same behavior in your relationships. Type yes in the comments if you've experienced this, and share how it made you feel. You're not alone in this. Sign number 3. They show passive-aggressive behavior or silent treatment. Eleanor had always prided herself on being a thoughtful and caring friend. She remembered every birthday, every special occasion, and always tried to make sure her loved ones knew how much they meant to her. But one day, she made a mistake. She forgot Denise's birthday. It wasn't intentional. Life had been busy, and with everything going on, she just let it slip through the cracks. At first, Eleanor didn't think much of it, but she quickly noticed something odd when they met for their usual coffee. Denise wasn't herself. She was colder than usual, her responses shorter, and there was a visible shift in her demeanor. Eleanor tried to make small talk, but Denise barely made eye contact. It wasn't like their normal conversations where they laughed and shared stories. It wasn't until a few days later that Eleanor truly understood the depth of the issue. Denise made a snide remark while they were chatting about something unrelated. "Well, I guess I just have to remember to do everything for myself. Real friends don't forget things that matter." Eleanor was taken aback. Denise wasn't outright angry, but the hurt in her voice was undeniable. She didn't confront her directly, nor did she explain what was wrong. Instead, Denise used indirect, passive-aggressive comments to express her frustration. It was a classic case of someone using subtle, indirect hostility to punish the other person without ever saying exactly what was bothering them. This kind of behavior, while often hard to pin down, can be incredibly damaging to a relationship. It's a way for someone to express their anger or hurt without taking responsibility for their feelings or communicating them clearly. It creates a toxic environment where misunderstandings and resentment thrive. When someone shows passive-aggressive behavior, it's a signal that they're not comfortable expressing their true feelings openly. Instead of addressing the issue directly, they choose to act out in indirect, often hurtful ways. This can make it difficult for you to understand exactly what's going on or how to resolve the situation. Here are a few red flags that could indicate someone is being passive-aggressive. Frequent silent treatment or avoiding direct conversation. One of the most common forms of passive-aggressive behavior is the silent treatment. When someone is upset with you, instead of telling you why they're angry or disappointed, they simply withdraw emotionally or physically. They might avoid eye contact, stop returning your calls, or go silent on social media. This creates an atmosphere of confusion because you're left wondering what happened or why they're suddenly distant. Eleanor experienced this when Denise started to pull away after her birthday. Instead of telling her she was hurt by the forgotten celebration, Denise simply distanced herself and let her passive-aggressive comments do the talking. This behavior can leave the other person feeling isolated and unsure of how to fix the situation. Making indirect, hurtful comments. Instead of being upfront, instead of directly addressing what's wrong, a passive-aggressive person may make sarcastic or indirect comments that leave you feeling uncomfortable or guilty. For example, instead of saying, "I'm upset you forgot my birthday," Denise's comment about real friends was a roundabout way of expressing her frustration. These comments can often be disguised as jokes or casual remarks, but they're meant to poke at you or highlight something you did wrong without ever coming out and saying it. This indirectness can leave you feeling like you're constantly walking on eggshells, never sure when the next jab will come or what it's really about. Acting cold or distant without explanation. When someone is upset, you expect them to communicate directly with you, whether it's in a calm discussion or a heartfelt conversation. However, passive-aggressive individuals often act cold, distant, or even mean without offering any explanation. The lack of clarity can be frustrating because it leaves you confused, wondering if you did something wrong, but never knowing exactly what it is. In Eleanor's case, Denise's behavior became noticeably colder after the birthday incident. She was no longer warm and welcoming. She was distant, quiet, and unresponsive. But instead of confronting the issue head-on, she let her passive-aggressive behavior take center stage, making it nearly impossible for Eleanor to repair the situation without first understanding what was truly wrong. Dealing with passive-aggressive behavior can be tricky because it's not always easy to confront or resolve. However, there are a few strategies you can use to manage these situations. Recognize the signs. The first step in handling passive-aggressive behavior is recognizing it. If you notice someone acting distant, making indirect comments, or refusing to communicate openly, it's time to acknowledge what's happening. Understand that the behavior isn't about you. It's a reflection of their inability or unwillingness to express their feelings directly. Address it calmly and directly. If you feel safe doing so, try to address the issue directly with the person. Ask them about their behavior in a non-confrontational way. For example, I noticed you've been acting a little distant lately and I wanted to check in. Is everything okay? By opening the door for honest communication, you might be able to diffuse some of the tension and encourage them to express their feelings more clearly. Set boundaries. It's important to set boundaries with people who consistently engage in passive-aggressive behavior. If their actions are hurting you or causing unnecessary stress, it's okay to call it out and let them know how it makes you feel. You deserve to be in relationships where communication is open and respectful. Have you ever dealt with passive-aggressive behavior from someone close to you? How did you handle it? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your experiences. They undermine or dismiss your feelings. When someone close to you brushes off your achievements or struggles, it can be a subtle sign that they're not genuinely supportive. They only pretend to be happy for you. Fake support, where their enthusiasm doesn't match their words, can indicate underlying resentment or jealousy. They show passive-aggressive behavior or silent treatment. If someone avoids addressing issues directly and instead uses indirect comments or becomes distant, it's a sign that they're not being honest about their feelings. Recognizing these signs isn't about holding grudges. It's about protecting your peace and surrounding yourself with people who truly care. You deserve relationships that uplift and support you. If this video helped you, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you want more wisdom on living your best life after 60, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and watch the next video right here.